Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on Threat Protection Immersion Briefing. Thank you so much for joining us. As cyber threats continue to evolve, organizations need modern security solutions to protect their users, device, and data. In today's session, we'll explore the key threat protection strategies and how businesses can strengthen their security posture against modern cyber threats. Before we begin, feel free to share your question in chat. We'll address them during the Q&A session at the end of the webinar. Now I'd like to introduce our speaker, Manasvi Mathur, who will take us through today's briefing. Over to you, Manasvi.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining today's Microsoft Security Immersion Briefing. Before we begin, I want you to think about something simple. Every day before leaving home, we lock our doors because we know someone might try to enter without permission. Now imagine this. While we are sitting in this webinar, thousands of cyber criminals around the world are actively attempting to breach organizations just like yours. Today's attackers don't need days or weeks anymore. A single phishing email can lead to stolen credentials, lateral movement, and ransomware deployment within a matter of hours. Today, we'll explore how modern cyber attacks happen and how Microsoft Security protects organizations by detecting and stopping attacks automatically. So let's get started. Here's our roadmap for the next 40 minutes. We are moving through four essential areas. First, the threat landscape. What's actually happening out there and why the threat to organization your size is far worse than most people realize. Second, how Microsoft Security responds. We'll go deep on XDR, identity protection, email, and collaboration security and ransomware defense, all grounded in real attack data. Third, Microsoft Security in action. We'll walk a live attack scenario beat by beat and watch it get disrupted. And fourth, a clear recap, a value framework, and your path forward. I want this to feel less like a product pitch and more like a threat briefing because that's exactly what it is. The threat is real, the stakes are real. Let's treat them that way. So, before we talk about solutions, we need to understand the adversary. And the picture is not reassuring. Four macro trends are reshaping the threat environment right now, and every one of them disproportionately hits small and mid sized enterprises. Like the trend one shows, growing risk due to staffing shortages. The global cybersecurity talent gap is enormous. Most SMEs don't have dedicated security team. They have an IT generalist wearing five hats simultaneously. Meanwhile, attackers work full time, funded, organized, and increased AI assisted. The resourcing imbalance is stark. Trend 2, attacks are increasingly complex and dangerous. The era of obvious phishing emails with grammar mistakes is long gone. Today's attacks are multi stage, cross platform operations. They're patient, precise, and specifically engineered to evade traditional security tools. Trend 3, ransomware is up, but successful breaches can be down. Here's the dual reality. Ransomware attacks have increased dramatically, but organizations with the right defenses are now stopping them before encryption begins. The difference between the two groups is entirely in the platform. We'll show you exactly how shortly. Trend 4, technical depth is your greatest exposure. Most breaches don't come through exotic zero day exploits. They come through outdated systems, misconfigured tools, and fragmented security with gaps. Attackers can simplify walkthrough. Your legacy infrastructure could be your biggest liability. I want you to look at the slide carefully because it directly addresses the most dangerous myth in cybersecurity. We are too small to be a target. 46% of all breaches hit businesses with fewer than 1,000 employees. 60-second median time for users to fall for phishing emails. 1 in 5 incidents are caused by insiders. $10.5 trillion projected global cybercrime caused by 2025. Let that land. Nearly half of all cyber breaches target small and mid-sized businesses, not large enterprises. SMEs are the preferred hunting ground precisely because attackers know your defenses are likely thinner, and that 60-second statistic is the one that should keep you up at night. You could send a company-wide warning about a phishing campaign, and before the email is even read, someone has already clicked the malicious link. The too small to matter era is definitely over. Size is no longer a shield. If the previous slide concerned you, this one should alarm you. Cyber threats haven't just grown, they have scaled simultaneously across three dimensions. Speed, 1 hour and 12 minutes. That is the median time from a phishing email being opened to an attacker assessing your private data. 72 minutes from click to compromise. That's not to headline, that's documented outcome day from Microsoft Digital Defense Report. Sophistication. In 2023, Microsoft tracked 300 distinct threat actor groups. By 2024, that number had grown to over 1,500. These are not lone hackers, these are organized criminal enterprises and nation state backed groups with operational sophistication that rivals intelligence agencies. Scale. Password attacks have exploded from 579 per second in 2023 to 7,000 per second in 2024. 7,000 attempts every single second. While you have been listening to me, millions of credentials attacks have been executed globally. This is fully automated, industrialized cybercrime operating at machine speed. The scale of this is global. Even the most sophisticated organizations in the world are targeted. 345 million attacks per day, a projected $24 trillion in global cybercrime caused by 2027, and named nation state threat actors Midnight Blizzard, Crimson Sandstorm, Volt Typhoon, actively targeting critical business infrastructure. This is no longer purely an IT problem. This is a business continuity risk, a revenue exposure, and an existential threat for companies without the right defense. And now, the escalation we all have been anticipating. Attackers are using AI as a weapon. Generative AI is being used to craft hyper personalized phishing emails that perfectly mimic individual writing style with no typos, no suspicious phrasing, no traditional red flags. AI is being used for automated vulnerability scanning, probing thousands of systems and identifying vulnerabilities before they even exist. Most chillingly, deepfake. Synthetic voice recordings of authorizing wire transfer, synthetic video for identity verification bypass, synthetic email threads for social engineering. The attacker's toolkit just received a generational update. The only answer is to match AI with AI. And that is exactly what we are going to show you now. Here's how a modern attack actually unfolds. It doesn't begin with a frontal assault on your servers. It begins with a single phishing email. An employee clicks. A foothold is established on one endpoint. Then, patiently, methodically, the attackers moves across email to endpoint, endpoint to identity, and identity to cloud workloads until they reach your most valuable data. Each step in isolation can look like normal user activity. It's only when you correlate signals across the full chain that the attack becomes visible. And that's the core problem facing security teams today. Attacks unfold in minutes and hours, not the days your analysts need to manually investigate. Attackers deliberately exploit the gaps between your security tools, the spaces between your email, endpoint, and identity platforms. Your team simply cannot manually correlate thousands of alerts across multiple portals while an attacker is actively moving through your environment. What organizations need is a force multiplier, an AI powered platform that sees the entire kill chain simultaneously and acts at machine speed, automatically with precision. That's exactly what we are about to show you. I want you to walk through a real attack, not a hypothetical, not a situation. This happened. The threat actor is Octotempest, also tracked as Scattered Spider. The motivation financial. The method social engineering, SIM swaps, credential theft, ransomware deployment. These are exceptionally skilled, patient operators who have successfully compromised some of the world's most well known companies. The timeline beat by beat. At 1:52 a.m., the attacker initiates a self-service password reset on a victim account. This is the starting gun. No malware, no exploit, just a reset request. At 2 a.m., 8 minutes later, they have just tampered with the victim's multi-factor authentication, adding their own phone number as an MFA method. They're now authenticated as a legitimate user. At 2:04 a.m., they begin quietly browsing SharePoint files, Teams chat, collecting intelligence, reconnaissance, patient and silent. At 2 to 4 to 3:18 a.m. over the next hours, Microsoft Entra ID fires a threat intelligence alert. Then, Microsoft Defender XDR fires a second alert, possible Octo Tempest related sign in. The AI has recognized the behavior pattern and correlated it across identity and cloud signals. Next, 3 to 18 a.m., the automated incident response playbook fires. The user is disabled automatically, no human intervention at 3 a.m. At last, at 3:26 a.m., no further signs of threat actor activity. The attacker has been logged out. Incident closed. From the moment of the first anomalous action to full disruption, under 90 minutes. And the most remarkable part, the response was fully automated. No analyst had to wake up, no escalation chain, no racing to correlate alerts across separate portals. Microsoft XDR saw it, identified, and stopped it. So, what made that Octotempest disruption possible? Extended detection response, XDR. Traditionally, security operations in silos. Your email security doesn't talk to your endpoint protection. Your identity platform doesn't feed into your cloud monitoring. Each generate its own alerts in its own portal, waiting for a human analyst to manually stitch the story together. While the attacker is still moving, Microsoft Defender XDR destroys those silos. It delivers incident level visibility across the entire kill chain, correlating signals from email, endpoints, identities, and cloud into a single unified incident. Your analyst sees the complete picture, not 200 fragmented alerts. And then, crucially, it acts automatic attacks disruption doesn't want for human approval. When AI detects lateral movement consistent with ransomware or an advanced persistent threat at 99% confidence, it immediately contains the threat, limits the attacker's progression, and preserves forensic evidence for your team. Let me give you the numbers that make this concrete. 3-minute average time to disrupt ransomware, 99% confidence in automatic disruption, 180,000 plus devices saved in last 6 months, and 16,000 incidents disrupted per month. I want to highlight one real customer example. A company experienced an attack involving 10 compromised domain admin users, 3 spider IPs, and attack waves targeting 2,000 devices. 97% of those devices were saved. The 3% that were lost, they were covered by a different security vendor, not Microsoft Defender. That is not a marketing claim, that is documented outcome from a real point incident, with a 3% failure attributable directly to the absence of Defender on those devices. The scope of automatic disruption protection is comprehensive. It covers threats across endpoint, device containment during ransomware, hands on keyboard attack, identities, automatic user disabling in Active Directory and Entry ID, applications, disabling malicious OAuth apps and SAP accounts. Specific scenarios human operated ransomware, business email compromise, adversary in the middle attack, SAP financial fraud. This is coordinated cross domain defense, not a single vector point solution. Look at the email on the slide. Hey Rebecca, please be on the lookout for an invoice from Contoso LLC. We are finishing it up now and it will be sent over shortly. No suspicious link, no attachment, perfect grammar, no markers that traditional email security tools were built to catch. And yet, this is a business email compromise attack in progress. It's priming the target so that when the fraudulent invoice arrives, she pays it without hesitation. This is AI generated social engineering. Personalized to the recipient, contextually aware, crafted using data scrapped from LinkedIn, email signature, and the public company information. And Microsoft Defender for Office 365 catches it. It, any- it anyway because it uses purpose built large language models that analyze not just content and links but intent and behavioral context. It understands what the email is trying to accomplish even when the content looks clean. 99% attacker intent detection accuracy and 25% of business email compromise involves lateral phishing using a compromised internal account to target colleagues. Defender detects this cross account pattern that no external filter can see. Email is no longer the only attack surface. Over the last 2 years, attackers have moved aggressively into teams, masquerading as IT support help desk, sending messages like one on screen. Your device has been flagged as compromised. Please click this link to initiate a remote connection. It looks legitimate, it sounds urgent, and if the employee connects that remote session, the attacker has full, unrestricted control of the device. Microsoft Defender for Office 365 extends full protection into Teams, malicious message detection, URL scanning, file type protection, SOC alerting, and user training simulation. The same enterprise grade protection that covers your email inbox now covers every collaboration channel your team uses. Bringing this together, Microsoft Defender for Office 365 is a full lifecycle protection platform built on six capabilities: prevention, which blocks threats before they reach your users; detection, AI powered identification of sophisticated attacks traditional tools miss entirely; investigation and hunting; deep forensic to security team to understand what happened; response and remediation, tools to contain and fully clean up incidents; awareness and training, simulated attack exercises so your employees become your first line of defense; secure posture, continuous visibility into your email and collaboration security health with actionable improvement guidance. This isn't bolt on email filtering. This is comprehensive protection that feeds into your XDR signals and gives you a truly unified picture of every threat across your environment. Let me walk you through another real scenario: a password spray attack. The attacker systematically tries a small number of commonly used passwords across thousands of accounts, saying deliberately below alert thresholds. The traditional response: your IT team receives a security alert. They manually investigate, they manually lock compromised accounts, manually reset passwords, manually enforce MFA policies. This process takes hours and sometimes days. Meanwhile, the attacker continues to move unimpeded through your environment. Here comes the Microsoft Defender response. Microsoft Entra ID protection detects the attack using machine learning, recognizing the behavioral signature of a password spray, even at low volumes. Alerts are automatically integrated into Microsoft Defender XDR and Sentinel. The system identifies risky users, automatically applies risk based conditional access policies, and initiates remediation without requiring a human to manually intervene at 3 a.m. The speed difference is there. Premium P2 tenants using risk based conditional access remediate user risk 140 times faster than the P2 tenants who don't use it. Not 40% faster, not twice as fast, 140 times faster. This is a category difference, not an incremental improvement. Identity is the new perimeter. In a cloud first, hybrid work environment, your users' credentials and access rights are primary targets. Compromise one identity and you have effectively compromised the network. Microsoft ITDR platform is built on four pillars: tailored recommendations, which continuously surface misconfiguration and identity and gaps with prioritized guidance on what to fix first. Conditional access, dynamically enforcing risk-based access policies based on real-time signals, device compliance, sign-in location, behavioral anomalies, and threat intelligence. Powerful detection, XDR enriched signals, and intelligent automation that catches attack patterns no standalone identity tool could correlate. Seamless cross-environment coverage, consistent protection, and unified workflows across both on-premises Active Directory and cloud infra environments. Number one identity platform globally, and plus 4,000 password attacks logged per second, and 16,000 compromised accounts disrupted in last 6 months. When identity is protected at this level, attackers lose their most reliable and most commonly exploited entry point. The attack chain breaks before it can be even established. Imagine this. It's the busiest season of the year. Orders are flowing. Your team is at capacity. Everything is running. And then everything stops. Files are inaccessible. Systems are locked. There is a message on screen demanding payment in exchange for the encryption key. You either pay with no guarantee of actual recovering your data, or you face the possibility of business closure. This is exactly what happened to Northwind traders. It's happening to organizations just like yours every day. The trajectory: a 275% increase in ransomware attacks from 2022 to 2024. But here's the counter trend that matters: a threefold decrease in attacks that actually reached the encryption stage over the same period. The difference? In every case, organization that deployed layered endpoint and XDR protection. Microsoft Defender for Endpoint is the foundation of your device protection strategy. What makes it exceptional is both its depth and its breadth. Cross platform coverage: Windows, Linux, Mac OS, iOS, Android, and network devices all protected and managed from a single unified console. Global threat intelligence, informed by 345 million daily attack data points across Microsoft worldwide network, giving you intelligence no single organization could generate alone. Built-in AI and automation, vulnerabilities flagged proactively. Response action automated to remove human delay from critical minutes after detection. Deception capabilities: Defender can deploy decoy assets that lure and expose attackers without risking your real data or system. This capability was previously only available to large enterprise security operation teams. 180,000 devices saved in the last 6 months. Not theoretically, not projected, it is documented. Against ransomware specifically, Microsoft Defender operates across the full attack lifecycle: prevent, detect, respond. So, when we talk about prevent, hardening your configuration before an attack, identifying misconfiguration attackers would exploit, reducing attack surface systematically. And if we talk about detect, detect is the real time recognition of ransomware behavioral patterns with automatic disruption firing at 99% confidence to halt lateral movement before encryption begins. And then last, respond. a unified investigation and remediation experience. So your team cleans up completely and quickly with minimal operational impact. 3 minutes to disruption, 94% of devices saved during disruption cases. These numbers represent real companies, real employees, and real business continuity protected. Now I want to do something a little different. Instead of me telling you what Defender does, I want you to think through a scenario with me in real time. So I'll describe a threat scenario step by step at each decision point. I want you to think honestly about what your current security environment would do. The scenario, it is Monday morning, 7:14 a.m. Your company is a 400% logistic firm. Before anyone arrives at the CEO, an attacker sends a highly personalized email to your CFO, appearing to come from CEO, requesting she review an urgent supplier contract attachment. She opens the attachment on her work laptop. A macro execute, the attacker has a photo. At this point, does your current security tool alert you? Or is this happening silently in the background? Tell me. I want you guys to answer in the chat box. Okay. So 20 minutes later, the accesses your SharePoint environment using her credentials. They escalate privileges through a misconfigured service account. They're now moving toward your ERP system and financial record. Does your current security see across email endpoint identities simultaneously? Or these three separate alerts in three separate portals that no one is monitoring at 7 a.m.? I repeat, it is 7 a.m. So that's how we are going to know how Microsoft Defender responds. Defender for Office 365 flags the email before it reaches the inbox, or if it does get through, the macro execution triggers an immediate endpoint behavioral alert. Entra ID protection correlates the anomalous SharePoint access with the user sign in risk profile and automatically applies conditional access restriction. Defender XDR correlates all three signals email, endpoint, and identity into a single incident. Automatic disruption fires. The CFO account is suspended, the attacker session is terminated. Time from foothold to disruption under 3 minutes. So Microsoft Defenders moves for them at machine speed automatically while your team is still having the morning coffee. So why Microsoft specifically? Three reasons that compound each other. Enhanced security, cost effective, industry recognized. Let's just get into deeper. Microsoft Defender is not one product, it is a unified suite covering identities, endpoints, email collaboration tools, and SaaS applications from a single platform with shared intelligence. Coordinated protection that standalone point solution architecturally cannot replicate. What is the cost effectiveness? Consolidating onto the Microsoft platform generates significant cost saving versus licensing multiple best of breed tools. The Forrester research we are about to see quantifies exactly what that looks like at scale. Microsoft is consistently rated a leader in independent evaluation for endpoint XDR, email security, and identity protection by Gartner, Forrester, and the rigorous MIT RE attack evaluation. This is third party validation and not self assessment. The Microsoft Defender suite, available as E5 Security, delivers a complete XDR platform built from five integrated components. Microsoft Entra ID Plan 2, Microsoft Defender for Identity, Microsoft Defender for Endpoint P2, Microsoft Defender for Office 365 P2, and Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps. So Defender Suite is available as E5 Security. It delivers a complete XDR platform which completely works with five integrated components. Intra-ID Plan 2 works as risk-based conditional access, identity governance, privileged identity management. And just Defender for Identity, it works for on-premises identity threat detection and lateral movement prevention. Defender for Endpoint Plan 2, enterprise endpoint detection response and advanced it threat hunts completely. And for Office 365 Plan 2, advanced email and collaboration security with automated investigation and response. At last, for the cloud apps, the Cloud Access Security Broker, blocking risky SaaS applications and shadow IT and unusual user behavior. Every attack surface covered, every single correlated, every response coordinated. This is the full stack and it is available for you today. Finally, Finally, the financial case validated by Forrester Consulting in the Total Economic Impact Study of Microsoft SIEM tool and XDR. 60% reduction in risk of a material breach, 88% reduced time to threat mitigation, 75% security analyst time redeployed to higher value, and $1.6 million saved annually from vendor consolidation. And listen to what real practitioner said. A cybersecurity manager at a professional services firm. Before I was a best of breed person, but that introduced a lack of integration and visibility that created enormous amount of work for us. A head of cyber procurement at logistic firm said, having multiple tools from the same vendor has helped us save detection and response time enormously. We no longer have to navigate different screens and tools to investigate and respond. The integration is seamless. That is the consolidation dividend. Fewer tools, unified visibility, faster response, lower total cost. The argument for fragmented multi vendor security has never been weaker, and the evidence for a unified platform has never been stronger. So, we opened with a simple observation somewhere in the world right now, someone is trying to break into a company just like yours. The difference between the organization that survive those attacks and the ones that doesn't isn't luck that don't isn't luck. It isn't budget, it isn't team size, it is having the right defense, a unified AI powered platform that sees the complete attack chain and response at machine speed before your analyst even opens the laptop. Microsoft Defender is that platform, and everything we have shown you today is live, proven, and available to your organization right now. Thank you, everyone, for your time today. I'll open the floor for questions.
Okay, I guess there's no questions. Thank you so much everyone for joining our webinar. I hope the webinar was insightful for all of you. Thank you. Thank you for joining.